Hi there, I'm Michael Cohn from Advanced Tubular Technologies. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use a hand scanner like this Revopoint to scan a tube and then import that information, the point cloud, into VTube-LASER, and then from there qualify and correct the tube shape if necessary. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to start right from the beginning. I mean, this is what you have to do to get something like this going. You got this power supply, and we've got power being injected into the cable right here through this transformer. And then on the other end, for this one, we have this USB-C cable that gets plugged into the Revopoint itself. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this, the one for the computer, into USB-C port like this. So that's going to allow for communication, and it's going to immediately power up. There, and this Revopoint, there is no power switch. You just plug it in, and if it's plugged in here, then eventually it's going to turn on. You're going to see lights flashing here, and eventually it's going to turn on. So I'm going to move this out of the way now. And I just heard the USB sound in my ear. When we perform a scan on a tube like this with a scanner like this, what we're going to have to do is know that this has no way of referencing back to a zero without targets like these. You can buy these kits. These kits are really not expensive. A couple $100 you can get these kits full of these dots. They're reflective dots. And what I'm going to do with these dots is place them around the tube in a way that allows the camera in the Revopoint to always see the tube. So if you have a tube that's relatively flat to a table, then this is really easy. You just place these dots like this. Some people, I've seen other people place dots on the tube, which I don't really like doing, because then you have to pull the dots off the tube. But this is good enough right here. These dots become the arm. And if you have a tube that climbs vertically, then you need to do something like this, where you've got these small posts, and you can then magnetize these dots going up. So this is a very flat tube, so I don't really need to do this, but you can buy a base and do this. Also, if you wanted to, you could go with a turntable like this. And since the turntable has dots on it, then the tube can turn while you're scanning it. So you can scan all sides that way. I'm not going to use that in this case, but you can get various size. You can get, bigger tables. I've got a bigger one over here, about this big, that you could use for a larger tube and just let it spin around very slowly, and it works fine. So let me go ahead and connect. I'm using what's called Revometro, and Revometro comes with the camera. So what I have to do at this point is let it initialize. And then at this point, it's set up to just look at the markers. I can hold it like this, or I could actually mount it on a tripod. In this case, I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to make sure that I get my range right. And you can see on the right side there, there is a bar with green in it. And you can see this is going to be my range, or my distance. This is too close. This is too far. With this kind of scanner, let's say you've got a highly reflective tube and you need to scan with that high reflectivity. You need to use something like this A-sub. Revopoint has their own spray. They sell A-sub and their own version, which basically you spray it on and then it evaporates on its own, so you don't have to clean it up. But there are different settings right here. So you got a black object and a metallic shiny. So I'm going to use the general object type because this is a nice flat gray. And so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and click on start. And then you can see what it's doing now. It's just building up the geometry in the tube. And if it lost track, then just go back to a previously scanned area. And sometimes we might not have enough targets. So it needs targets in order to act like it has an arm. And so if you have a super long tube, you just need to have a lot of targets. Complete. I'm going to put this down. Now let's do some work inside Revometro. And you can see I'm dragging with the mouse here. So there is some prep work here. It's not like completely automatic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and perform what's called fusion. Fusion is a word that Revopoint uses to get rid of duplicate points, because there are a lot of duplicate points laying on top of points here. So we're going to have to get rid of some points. I just use 1.5. Sometimes, I mean, they'll recommend 0.27, but for tubing, we don't need that. This is not an accuracy thing here. This is just how close should the points be. I'll just leave it at 1.2. And on this computer, it takes about 30 seconds. It says a minute. There's no reason for me to bring all of these table points in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on its edge like this. And I am going to get rid of some things that I don't want. So this is their clip or cut plane. So here we go. I'm pressing the delete. Go back to the pointer here, and I'll show you what I just did. See how I got rid of that table plane pretty quickly. So they have, some pretty nice tools here for that. So let me just square this up, go back to the clipping plane and press delete. All right, so go back to the arrow. And I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use this one, which takes points in groups when they're close together like this. I'm gonna hit the delete. And if you get into the tube, then you're going to delete the tube and you don't want that. So, and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment here. So that is an example. These points are touching the tube. So we can't do that. So let me just go in here and let's just change the way we select things here, right? I really want to clean up this little bit up here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my clipping plane again. Now this time I want the clipping plane to point up, so I'm going to start on my left and go right like this. The direction you drag matters. There we go. Okay, so now at this point, I have everything I need to export to VTube. And if you want, you could create a mesh. Mesh would be good for if you're trying to do a 3D print of this tube or whatever you've scanned. You could do that. You don't have to, but you could do that. So the mesh is different than the fusion. And so when you export, all we're doing is we're exporting the point cloud. So you don't really have to go to mesh in order to export a point cloud because a point cloud is pre-mesh. So let me change over to an OBJ file. So after this is exported, we can go ahead and get VTube up. And you'll want to make sure that it's in what's called a cloud arm. Let me just disconnect here and go into a cloud, imported point cloud. And I actually have the default setup changed so that it always turns off the end scan flyer filters. So let's say you're running with an arm like a hexagon. I've got these end scan flyer filters active, but you don't want that with a point cloud arm. So we're going to change over to a different kind of setup. So there's a unique setup for the point cloud. I'm going to go ahead and connect to that arm. It's a virtual arm, right? It's not an arm, really. Go into point cloud control, and we're going to go to file, and we want to import Revopoint, OBJ file. All right, the probe diameter is 0. And so now we've got this huge 35,434 bucket count, right? Get rid of this last one right here. Delete this guy. So we can't display that many points on the screen without VTube bogging down. So what I'm going to do is go over here to the scan setup, and I'm going to say, let's do a 50 thou proximity distance filter, and I'm going to retrim all the buckets. So let's let it do its work there. So let's see what that looks like. And I'm going to redraw and zoom all. And as you can see, this is way more information than we need in VTube. So we're not removing accuracy by removing points. We're just making it less dense. So let me just get rid of some stuff here, put it in select mode and get rid of stuff that's kind of hanging around that we don't need. I don't even need that many points. Let me just make it even simpler. Let's go to 250. So let's redraw. To me, that will work as long as we don't lose the endpoint. So in fact, I think what I'll do is go back and change this to 125 instead of 250. Give it twice as many points, right? All right, so now let's redraw. There we go. I like that. We're going to perform a measure process, and we're going to use multi-scan to do this because with Uniscan, VTube uses the location of stripes in order to automatically estimate a center line before it performs a calculation. of the cylinder itself from the surface points. But we don't have that information here. We don't have stripes. We just have random points. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to use multi-scan in order to give us that by giving us two regions that allow us to build an estimated stripe before we calculate that. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to multi-scan. And here's my nominal part that I imported already. I'm going to go ahead into multi-scan and type in the number of straights and say measure the tube now. And so now, because we have a nominal part already imported, it's showing us this nominal part here, and it's saying go measure this bend down here. So you can see this is the 90-degree bend. So we need to go find that 90-degree bend and measure that. So the first thing we need to do is just follow what's going on in the yellow box here. And I'm going to rotate this a little bit and square this straight up. I'm going to grab the first straight. And now it says get stripe 1 of 2. So let's grab a stripe and press the acquire button. This is like pressing the button on a measuring setter. So if it doesn't like what you do here, there might be some stray points in here. And yeah, it's very possible. So I'm going to, before I do any of that, I'm going to put it in select mode and get rid of some of these points in the bottom. I don't trust those points. So I'm going to go ahead and come back around to the top like this. And we're going to take another pass. We're going to try it again. Okay. So let's grab some points here and points here and see if it's better. See, that was something to watch out for, because the angle of incidence when we were scanning was very sharp, a very high angle of incidence on the diameter, and that's when scanning gets poor for any scanner. So let's go to the next straight, because it says straight 2, and take some points. And then in order to get to this straight here, I'm going to rotate or roll just a bit like this. I'm going to square it up a little. There we go. And now I'm going to put it into select mode by right-clicking. Make sure that's in select mode. You can keep doing this until you get a pop-up and you know you're in select at that point. So go ahead and select some points here, and then select some points on the other side. Try to stay out of the bend region, otherwise you're going to get an error. So now we're going to do this straight. Push the mouse wheel down, kind of square this up a little better. Right-click to get back to select mode. So I know we're in select mode right now. Just a habit. You get used to it. Acquire. Acquire. And let's roll to the next straight. Push the mouse wheel down. I'm in orbit mode, but now I'm going to push the mouse wheel again. Now I'm in pan mode. Now I'm in orbit mode by pushing the mouse wheel again. Right-click to get into select mode. And then let's go ahead and select some points. I push the mouse wheel down, pan over, push the mouse wheel down now to orbit, square this up a bit, right-click to get into select mode. I'm going to select some points here. Make sure you stay out of the torus or the bend region. And now it's asking for the end. So I'm going to go ahead and perform an alignment using best fit alignment. So you can see here that I have this part set to a 30 thou envelope, which in GD&T world is 60 thou. You can see these blue envelopes. They're all blue because the pink is the measured aligned. It's inside every one of these envelopes. So that's how you use a hand scanner like Revopoint. It has its benefits in that it's cost effective up front. It's a little slower than using an arm with a scanner or like an M-Scan 120 for the Metronor system, but it does let you get into VTube-LASER at a much better price point. And then as you develop this system and you need more speed, you can just purchase a faster arm, something that connects in real time to VTube-LASER like a Hexagon or a Faro or an M-Scan 120 with an arm, or the M-Scan 120 Navitarget with scanners that scan in VTube-LASER, connect directly to VTube-LASER and scan much faster. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, please feel free to reach out to me or my team at support@advancedtubular.com. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day.